do a video about the proof that God exists. Okay. First of all, you have to believe in God. That means you have to have something called faith, kind of a blind faith. I have faith. All you need is a little bit of faith to believe God exists. You don't need a tremendous amount of proof. You understand? When I was young, and it's still true to this day, nothing else made sense. The theory of evolution that I was taught in secular school years ago, which is still taught, never made any sense to me. And then I would, of course, go to church on Sunday. And yeah, it's weird that you go to public school and be taught Darwin's theory of evolution, which no God, we all hear by accident or something, and then go to church on Sunday and be taught something else. It's very weird. It still goes on in this country. But they can't teach religion in secular schools, and I appreciate that, and they shouldn't. They should never teach anything about religion or a particular religion in school. Shouldn't be, shoved down your throat. That's a great place to start, you know. But just as years ago, Darwin's theory didn't make any sense, it still makes no sense. They make it, they dress it up a little bit. They kind of candy coat it and want you to believe in it because they have a little bit more evidence these days, or something that's absolutely ridiculous. It's built on a theory. Scientific theory is garbage. It is. The reason it's garbage is it could be true today, or you think you could build your scientific facts on a theory. First of all, will never make sense. How can you make scientific facts built on a theory? That's kind of like building a house on sand, no foundation. Okay, the house is built. Yeah, is it really going to withstand the elements of time and space and weather? No, it's going to come right down because it's on shifty sand. So there's a lot of science that's built on scientific theory, and they want to dress it up and say, well, a scientific theory is a well substantiated, explanation. They're trying to sugarcoat it and make you think it's a fact or something. It's never going to be a fact. It can be found out later in life that it's absolutely, the theory was not correct, and everything that was built up over your theory comes crumbling down. Do you understand that? So what is true in scientific theory today eventually could be proven to be either true or untrue. So therefore, how can you have any scientific fact built on a scientific theory? It's not true. None of it's true. It's all garbage. You understand? I mean, it's like if you think we came from apes, where did the apes come from? Okay, and if you think that man came from apes, about where are all the missing links? There had to be plenty of species. Could be thousands of species between the ape and the man. Where are they? Where are the fossils of them? Where are the bones? Where is any kind of drawing in any kind of cave? It's a silly theory. Who made it this way? God did. Why? Because you need faith to believe in God. So he put something in the world, which I think he did it because he has a sense of humor. He made apes, monkeys, and then he made man. Nevertheless, it's a silly theory. A child wouldn't believe that. You understand? They wouldn't. So if you want to act, it's amazing how atheists and people that don't believe in God take a very pompous, downward point of view on people who do believe in God, like they're superior or something. You're losing your mind. You're not more superior than those who believe in God. Do you realize Albert Einstein believed in God? Stephen Hawking is referred to, there is a God, depending on what audience he was in front of it. Sometimes he would say, of course, there's no God, and sometimes he said there might be, there is. He's all over the place. Do you understand? Just all over the place. One day he believes in God, next day he doesn't. He's just in the dark, fumbling around the dark. But you understand? Nevertheless, God exists. He does. What I want to teach you is you're never going to find any scientific evidence that God exists, ever. Because the minute they do, and it becomes a scientific fact, faith is no longer needed. And faith is always going to be needed when it comes to believing in God. Therefore, any rational person would conclude if faith is needed, and it will always be needed to believe in God, there's never going to be scientific proof that God exists, ever. Because the minute there is, faith is irrelevant. So if you're waiting for scientific proof that God exists, you're wasting your time. You really are. But go right ahead. I'm not going to stop you. The vast majority of people in the world do believe in God. You understand? It's ironic that the little minority that doesn't believe acts like they're superior to those who believe, which is absolutely crazy. But go right ahead. Nevertheless, there's no scientific proof that God exists, nor will there ever be, but there is scientific proof that the Bible is 100% accurate. There's plenty of archaeology to prove that the Bible's true over in the Middle East, over in Israel. Plenty of proof. There are over 25,000 artifacts that prove that the Bible's true. There's also a theory about the Noah's Ark being found in Mount Arafat, whatever it's called. They believe they found where it settled and then decayed. They believe they found it. I believe it might be true too. Okay, and scientists keep looking at it, but there's plenty of archaeology that supports the Bible to be 100% accurate. So isn't that amazing? You have scientists proving that the Bible's true, but you'll never have scientific proof that God exists. How much more faith do you need to make the leap from there's scientific proof the Bible's true to the little faith it takes to, well, if the Bible's true, there must be a God. All you need is a little jump, a little faith. Do you see how silly that is? And every day they're doing archaeology over there and uncovering history. And history is two words. They're uncovering what? His story. His story. Archaeologists are uncovering over in the Middle East proof of what? His story. His story may not end, but where you are in his story depends on what you believe. Do you understand that? That's a pearl of wisdom. Do you understand? Is your name in the Lamb's Book of Life? Is it? Because if it isn't, I'm not going to tell you what happens. Look in the Bible. If your name is not written in the Book of Life, I'll let you figure it out. I don't want to scare anybody. I'll let you figure out what happens. So is your name in God's book? Are you part of his story, or are you going to perish? That's the big question. Forget about that, if God exists or not. You're never going to have scientific proof, so forget it. It's a synthetic world. He did make the moon, the stars, and the earth, and the sun on the fourth day. The moon only looks like it's millions of years old. Do you honestly think he made it out in space, and it was nice and powdery and smooth, and then he threw a bunch of asteroids at it for millions of years until it was looking the way it looks now with all the craters? You think he made the earth, turned a water faucet on to fill the oceans, and it took millions of years to fill the water, millions of years to make the earth, millions of years to, make the coal, the oil in the ground, the dirt, the earth that grows everything, water, fresh water, salt water. Do you think that it took him millions and billions of years for this to come into being? And then, then he started with man. Do you think the world's been around for 400 million years? That's ridiculous. Do you realize that no scientists that have looked at the study of how old the galaxy is and universe, they never come to the same agreeing years? One will say 400 million, one will say 3 billion, the other says trillions, one will say 1 million. So therefore, what can you conclude? That none of them know. There is no scientific, whatever they're using, like carbon dating, it's faulty. Otherwise, they'd come to the same conclusion. If one scientist said that creation started 400 million years ago, and one of them said it was 399 million, and another one said no, it was 401 million, and another one said it was 405 million, then you might think they're onto something. because they're very close to each other. But when you have one scientist saying it's a billion, it's a trillion, it's 400 million, any rational person would conclude they simply don't know. Therefore, whatever they're using as a theory or in their equation, it's faulty. There's something wrong with the equation. So there must be something wrong with the science. And maybe there's something wrong with what they think is carbon dating. You understand? Which there is. Otherwise, they come up to the same conclusion, right? That only makes sense. I guarantee you, God made this world the way he said it. Otherwise, it's a lie. Do you understand? When it says in Genesis, he created the world in 6 days and rested on the seventh, either that is the truth or it's a lie. I'm telling you, it's true. How he did it, you will never know because your mind can't comprehend that. It can't. That's why it takes faith, a little bit of faith. Faith is, it's maybe not understanding how he did it, but it's simply believing that he did do it. Otherwise, he's lying, right? I mean, forget about that. He also said, I made a man out of dust. Figure that out. How did he make blood? How did he make nerves? How did he make all your organs, your brain, your mind, all that your body has? How did he make that out of dirt? You want to figure that one out? And how did he make the woman? Out of a piece of bone? How do you make a human being out of a piece of a rib? You have to have a little faith, even though you don't understand the magnitude of what he's done. It's pretty awesome, even though you don't understand how he did it physically, like physics or science, doesn't mean he didn't do it. Do you understand that? It's a synthetic world. In other words, once again, this is going to be to an atheist, this is going to be like somebody taking their fingernails down a chalkboard. So you might, if you're an atheist, you may want to cover your ears. It's a synthetic universe. It isn't real. Do you understand that? It's not real. Heaven is more real than this place. This, what we call reality, is a much smaller part of a more real reality, if you can understand that. Heaven is more real than this place, this world. It is. It's a synthetic world. The moon only looks millions of years old. When God created it on the fourth day, he created it with already craters in it. He did not create it smooth and wait for millions of years for meteorites to hit it. He merely made it on the fourth day with looking like meteorites hit it. Then he put meteorites out in space and he made it move. It makes the universe look like it's expanding. It's not. I guarantee you it's not. It only looks like it is. The earth he made, the stars he made on the fourth day. The sun he made on the fourth day. Most people think, when you read, in the beginning, God created, he said, let there be light on the first day. He did not make the sun on the first day. Read the Bible, he made it on the fourth day. So what did that mean? That had to mean something spiritual. Let there be light on the first day. Let there be wisdom. Let there be knowledge. Let there be an understanding. Let there be truth. He made that on the first day. Spiritual light. That's an invisible light. Jesus said, I'm the light of the world. Do you understand? He's the truth. Jesus is the truth. Do you understand? Truth is light. The fourth day is when he made the sun, the stars, and the moon. And he made them that day. He did not wait millions and billions of years for the sun to develop, the moon to develop. That's ridiculous. If he can make a human being out of dust in one day, he certainly can make a universe on one day too. Do you understand? He did. It's a synthetic world. It's not real the way you think real is. And he did it that way because you need faith to believe in him, not scientific facts.